The color is woven wicker, and the company is Sherwin. This is Hue Review, so let's review. Hello everyone, my name is James from the Paint People, and this is the color review show that is going to review every single paint color from all the major paint companies. It's going to take me a while, but I'm going to do it. I promise. Pinky swear. Like my ring finger's going crazy. So my goal of this show is to just give you my perspective on paint colors, how I think of them, how I might want to use them in my home. Maybe I don't even want to use them at all. I'll tell you all of it. I'm spilling the tea. The colorful tea. And I do that by going through a color's vibe, its versatility, and then I'll give you my verdict. Is this a color worth using, according to me? But right before I get into this Sherwin-Williams color review, I want to give you some alternatives from other paint companies. Maybe you're a Valspar loyalist or a Farrow & Ball fan person. These are going to be some close matches that are kind of giving you the same essence as woven wicker, but they're not going to be spot-on matches. I don't claim them to be. Even if you get a custom color match at your local paint store, it can come pretty close, but it's not going to be spot on. The only way to get that true woven wicker goodness is to get it in Sherwin-Williams paint. Not the end of the world, I'd say. All right, so what is woven wicker? What is the vibe? What is the situation here? This is a paint color that sort of gives you the essence of those warm neutrals in design, not necessarily as paint colors, but as materials. Kind of like wicker, kind of like this sort of golden leathery chair I have here. And I think that's what this color's essence really is. Almost a harvest gold type of feeling, even though it's part of the orange family of paint colors. And yes, there is some orange mixed in. It is more of a bronzy quality, I would say. So a combination of brown, gold, and a touch of orange, a little bit of ochre perhaps. And what I think that does is it gives you the least neutral feeling neutral you can get. Colors that are sort of in the more tan direction can be pretty saturated with color. And this is no exception. It's not going to feel like a dark beige because of the amount of coloration actually here. And it is a fairly deep color. It has a decent amount of depth for sure. And we know this because we can look at the LRV, the light reflectance value. All my subscribers, they already know about LRV. But if you're new here, consider subscribing, no pressure. LRV is super important. It's a 0 to 100 lightness score, essentially. The higher it goes, the more light it reflects, which means it's going to look lighter. It's going to be a brighter color. So woven wicker, sitting around a 34 LRV out of 100. So kind of dark, sort of in the bottom third of paint colors. Definitely a darker mid-tone color in practicality. But I find in usage, because it has that warmth to it, that sort of energetic golden orange vibrancy, it doesn't feel dull or anything. It still has some life to it, even though it's not reflecting a ton of light back into whatever space you use it in. And in general, even though it's not technically neutral, I do see this color working quite well with neutrals because it does have that pseudo brown base to it. And also, fun fact, it was selected as one of the color mix forecast colors for 2022, which is sort of in line with the trendy colors of that year. And even though that was a couple years ago at this point, I still think it's a color that is kind of trendy feeling. And it's, you know, not bad. I don't know what I meant by those sounds and clicks and winks, but oh well. So that's the vibe with this paint color, and that's kind of my vibe right now. That's how I'm feeling in this moment. A bit loosey-goosey. What is the versatility of this color? Because that's what we really all want to know about. And if you don't want to know about that, you should. Because a paint color's versatility is such an important factor in real life. The more versatile and flexible a color is, the more practical of a choice it'll be. It's not something that you're going to feel compelled to repaint after 6 months. And also, versatile paint colors are great at connecting different spaces in your home. Maybe you're the type of person that also likes to switch things up design style-wise. I rate versatility very high when it comes to paint colors. You don't always want the most flexible, versatile color, but I think for a general audience like you guys, I want to help as many people as possible. Woven wicker on the interior side of things. If you're using this inside your home, I would put it at a mid versatility. And the reason for that is it is pretty saturated. It has a nice amount of warmth, but its saturation could also divide certain people, especially if you're picking this color because you like wicker. And wicker in real life can be a bit lighter than this. This is going to feel a lot closer to that harvest gold color I was talking about. So there is a bit of false advertising there, perhaps. But like I said earlier, I find it to work quite well with neutral colors. Because it's so saturated, it will distinguish itself a lot better. Sometimes when you are mixing neutrals and then they can kind of clash because they're sort of off, this color, in my opinion, won't really do that because it's just kind of on its own, in its own world, its own wickery, goldeny world that I think is a world I might like to be in. In terms of exterior versatility, unfortunately, I would put this at a low versatility for my personal taste. Not a huge fan of going in that gold direction outside. I do like the depth that woven wicker brings, so it's not a color that's going to get washed out and just obliterated by the sunlight, but you have to sort of be careful where you're using it. Maybe a good choice on smaller sections of homes. Like you see a lot of these mixed material modern homes that have like orange wood and then dark gray slate, and it's just like this weird mishmash. This kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Maybe that's why I'm a little bit triggered by it, but it's not super orange. And I think outside it will settle down a little bit, which I think is good. But yeah, in terms of versatility, in terms of using it on a variety of different house styles, I just can't give it really high marks there. Okay, so what's my verdict? How would I use this color? Where does it go on the palette pyramid? Is it a main color that you can use everywhere, or is it more of a secondary supporting color, or is it an accent color? Does it finish the job as one of those finishing colors? I would absolutely put this as a finishing color, 100%. This is an accent color, even though it does have that sort of sandy tan-like base. There is enough saturation happening here. There's enough coloration, enough of that gold and orange and ochre all coming together to really give it that accentuating quality, whether that's in the form of an accent wall, maybe some furniture, or just a room, like an accent room. I think if you were to use it throughout an entire room, maybe don't pick something that has walls everywhere. Visually, if there's something that can break things up, either you have maybe some nice woodwork that's a lighter color to sort of bring some of that light back into the space, or you have some paneling or some big pieces of furniture or built-ins that are a lot lighter. Because again, this color does have a lot of depth to it, so it may look darker than you might expect. So you can kind of combat that with lighter components, maybe in front of the walls in some areas, or the flooring if it's a lot lighter. That's a good thing too. So that's how I'd use it. But would I? Abso-frickin-lutely. Yes, for sure. This is a color that I really like. I kind of hinted towards it earlier. This is a nice vibe. I currently don't have anything similar on the walls, but for sure, this is a color that I love to incorporate where I can in small doses in the form of accents. So yeah, this doesn't necessarily need to be a paint color as part of your color palette, but it can be used off your walls too, just as well. And I do use this color quite a bit. That's a review. If you want me to talk about woven wicker in our next episode of Palette Pyramids, a nice color palette built around it, let me know in the comment section below and I will do that for you. Also, we have our Patreon if you want extra content that you can only find there every single Sunday. Link in the description down below for that as well. If you're a Prime member, you get your own personalized mini color palette from me every 3 months. That's a lot of fun, right? For more YouTube fun, we got a video right here.